The meeting of the Redevelopment Commission to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ralph, would you start us off?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Lynn, would you please do the roll call?
Mr. Lack?
Here.
Mr. Zilli?
Here.
Mr. Ekdahl?
Here.
Mr. Munt?
Here.
Mayor Lynch?
Here.
Dr. Finley?
We have the approval of the minutes from the February 25th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Colin, seconded by Ralph. Are there any discussions, any questions? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Payment of claims. Did everybody get a chance to review the claims?
Yes. Make a motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion by Greg, seconded by Colin. Are there any questions or discussions? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We have staff reports.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, AJ.
A couple things. I just wanted to report that, as I reported last month, the City Hall project as well as the Founders Square Plaza project remain on schedule, as was discussed last month. I guess to summarize, we're looking to start construction in July of this year. Another project we've been working on, among the many, is working with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to finalize our Lear credits for the Section 125 project. So that was that ecological restoration project that we worked on a number of years ago. And if all goes as well as the conversations are initially, we're going to like the additional credits we get. So hopefully we stay on track there, and I hope to have more to report here soon. One other thing, I guess, Attorney Whitten and I and Mayor Lynch have been talking about a little bit is a resolution that came up a couple of years ago that was approved by the board that had to do with the ability of staff to move forward on projects. I'm looking it up. I think it was, yeah, here it is. It was Resolution 1602 adopted by the Redevelopment Commission, and it had to do with small purchases. It gave a lot of authorization to staff with mayoral consent to move forward on small purchases under $50,000. I've been working with Mayor Lynch and Dan to look to modify the language of that resolution to eliminate some of those provisions. With that said, there's something I would like to ask for your consideration and guidance on this afternoon, and that has more to do with the process of soliciting bids or proposals for projects that we've talked about that are budgeted. As it's been the practice here for some time, we've been coming here seeking authorization to even go out to ask the questions, and I'm wondering what the commission's pleasure would be on allowing staff to at least go out there and do that initial work to solicit quotes or to solicit bids on work that we've already discussed, whether as we worked on developing the 2021 budget or whatever. In no way would that change the process. It would still be the same. We would present the proposal, the quotes in a public meeting. We would ask for your consent to move forward, and then the contracting would be handled by staff and by Attorney Whitten's review, and then we would move forward. So a couple of things. I wanted to bring up the resolution as something that I think staff and all of us would be more comfortable with not having that authority. However, we would be seeking some authority in the time between meetings to at least be able to go out and do your work as a commission, so that when we get together, we're able to get a few more things done. Because like if something comes up, I come here, I ask for authorization, I ask for approval. It could be 30 days, it could be 45 days, it could be 60 days, and we move forward. Again, just like anything else, we'd always want to keep you as commission members in understanding what's going on. Nothing would come as a surprise. And so I guess a couple things that I'd like to just talk about as part of the staff report, part of this afternoon's meeting.
Are there any questions that the commission have for AJ on that?
Are you referring to soliciting bids for like under the $50,000 threshold, for like for example, the police door?
I'm suggesting that we would follow the language that's identified in the statute. So under $50,000, there's a process that you solicit, you seek quotes, you open them in a public meeting. The statute also talks about projects that are less than $150,000. I guess I didn't think through that that minutia of those two questions, Greg. I would think that if the project's larger than $50,000, we would be talking about a solicitation first as a commission. So if it's the pleasure of the commission and you feel comfortable with just giving staff the authority to move, at least seek the quotes for work under $50,000, I'm okay with that too. I just know that there's a little bit of work here that we do that I think could speed up a little bit, work that we've talked about in the past.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at these as two separate things, maybe.
Yes.
I was asked, and AJ and I talked, a little bit about the authority to purchase and do things, up to the threshold without having the board approval. But the other thing that I think AJ was, so that's one thing. We're going to comply, if we're required to put out bids and close and all those sorts of things, or just the 2 or 3 solicitation letters given the circumstances. we're going to still comply with the statute and do that as appropriate. But I think what AJ might be referencing is he just wants the opportunity, because we have had a couple of instances where it's come up and AJ has said, listen, this thing has come up, I'm going to be asking the board for permission to solicit bids, and maybe we just had our RDC meeting. So now he's sort of hamstrung, and so he'd asked me earlier, is it a problem if the board gives me the authority to at least go out and make solicitations to bring to them for their consideration? And I said no, because they're still voting on it, approving it or not, and we're still complying with requirements of the statute. So I'm not quite sure if that was the question that you had, but that's how I understood the suggestion earlier. AJ, am I correct?
Yeah, I think we are talking about two things. One is the resolution related to small purchasing period, and a suggestion that we would like to revisit that resolution and back away from the authority that resolution gave. And the second is to consider what I've asked for in terms of allowing staff the opportunity to solicit bids or proposals on projects that we've already talked about as a commission.
I like the idea. I mean, with respect, we'll deal with the resolution. We'll put something together. AJ has sent some suggestions. I like the idea. I've seen instances where a board has given authority to a particular staff member to make purchases up to a certain amount. Then there's always, oh my gosh, I didn't know that was coming, or we didn't know about that, or then you're asked about it out and about, you don't know about it. I'm one that defaults to the board having oversight, the board having the, not divesting its authority to somebody else, but having, the intimate knowledge and the discussion and the input and the decision making. And I think AJ agrees with that, actually. I think it puts him in a tough spot a little bit. I've always sort of said to someone in AJ's position, for your good, I suggest that it comes to the board. Just to sort of protect you, so there's no misunderstandings. You're the employee; you don't want to misstep. So I think we'll iron all that out with the resolution that we put together for your consideration. Maybe at the next meeting, if you guys are up for it. But in the meantime, I think AJ, you're asking to discuss the ability to solicit bids, right?
Yes.
I mean, I have no objection to allowing AJ the authority to go out and solicit bids. I mean, it doesn't commit us to anything. It just gets the information in front of us. We still have to vote on it. So I don't have any objection to that. Nor do I have an objection to changing the resolution when that comes up, but.
No objection?
Dan, do we need to vote?
I think you should, Madam Chairman, just so we have something in the record. I think AJ made it clear it's on things that you guys have already discussed or projects you're considering. I don't think there's going to be any surprises. Surprises can be fun if it's your birthday.
So should we make it just anything that was included at the budget at the beginning of the year? You would have the authority to go out and solicit bids without us needing to approve it? To do the bids, not to award
Well, what's
the bids.
happening is, I think the one that is the most question is, if you look at Fund 406 or 407, we have line item budgets in there for repairs and maintenance of properties owned or
Right.
sponsored by the Redevelopment Commission. Now, I think we all know what properties the Redevelopment Commission owns. I think we all have a good understanding of what properties the Redevelopment Commission sponsored at some time in the past. But yeah, I would, Colin, I guess specifically to your question, I'd be seeking the ability to at least go out and solicit the quotes for work that could be related to repair maintenance, or maybe a more specific thing that we talk about in the future.
So we would need a motion. You want to state that motion again, Colin? Was that a motion?
Yeah, so I'll make a motion to allow staff to solicit quotes and bids on items that are in the budget and that we've discussed. Obviously, they still have to come back to us for approval once they are received, but I'll make that motion.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Ralph, do you?
No.
Oh, okay. So what if it was something that wasn't in the budget per se, but it was something that came up and the redevelopment commission had an opportunity to act on?
Well, I would defer to council in terms of, kind of between those two meetings, how could we communicate with one another? Would it require a special meeting? But I don't have the full answers. to
Can we
that.
delegate the authority to the mayor as president of the RDC to make those decisions outside the meetings?
You could delegate to your chair, the mayor, the authority to allow AJ to solicit quotes and bids if you want. You can do that.
I mean, I don't have we're just soliciting quotes and bids here.
Right, we're
And the
not-
board is still gonna have to
The
approve
board
any
still has to
expenditures
approve it.
or
It still
awarding
has
of
to come before
anything.
this board.
I mean, what we're doing now, it just delays being able to get that information in front of us, so.
I mean, to me, AJ, the bottom line is, this just makes your job that much easier. In situations that come up that don't necessarily need our approval right away under a certain amount of dollars. I mean,
Well, it would ultimately, Ralph, still come back here
Right.
for your approval. It would allow me to get at least the legwork done so that we could get it to, at a regular meeting and you
Right.
all could act.
For example, something comes up next week, we need to go out and get bids or quotes. AJ could get that done before the next meeting, so we can then
Right.
have those
Presents it
bids
to
and
us
quotes
and then
ready.
we-
Right.
Here's what happened the week after the redevelopment commission. The air conditioning unit at the
Right.
police department went out. We went out and solicited bids. We're here
Right.
with that information.
So can I make that part of that motion then?
You certainly can.
All right. I'll make that part of my
Are you
motion
ready?
Become
to
a great novel.
delegate the
Yes.
authority to the chair of the RDC to authorize the seeking of quotes and bids outside of a meeting.
Do we need a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Colin, seconded by Greg, regarding everything Colin just said. I'm not going to try to repeat it. Is there any further discussion?
Dan, can you just put all this on paper and then we have it written down? It's a policy of the RDC.
Yeah, so what I thought originally was, when AJ and I and the mayor had spoken, was I would maybe incorporate this into the resolution with respect to the new and improved, so we will. What I'll do is, we'll put something together for your next meeting's consideration that memorializes what I think is going to happen here today, and then we can have it there.
Okay, hearing no further questions, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, everyone. We have the, do you have more to bring up? I'm sorry, AJ.
I'm ready to proceed if you are.
Okay, we have the award to the Robbins Road Extension Project.
Yes, the Department of Planning and Community Development recommends that the project be awarded to the lowest responsive bidder, Walsh and Kelly Incorporated, for the amount of $749,370.39. I would make that recommendation contingent on Dan giving one last comb over of the bid docs, and we will proceed to contracting, and we will be back before you.
AJ, what was budgeted for Robbins Road?
700.
700, okay. I'll make a motion to award the bid to Walsh and Kelly for $749,370.39.
second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you. We have new business. We have the approval of the 2021 RDC budget amendment.
Yes, in your, I believe you received an email regarding amendment number 1. In the approved budget, or in the budget that was approved in January of this year, he had listed in Fund 407 miscellaneous real estate And at the time, we did not have a number to put into those different lines of the budget. If you have that budget in front of you, it was identified as to be determined, and that the department was working on developing a plan for sale of redevelopment commission-owned properties. So we were kind of thinking about real estate. We are continuing to work with Macaulay and Bill Rathjen to put together that plan. Our intention is to have a written report at about the halfway point of our work to discuss with you here soon. However, what I was hoping that we could begin to do is begin plugging some numbers into that working budget for miscellaneous real estate so that we could start doing some work. And later on in the agenda, I'd like to talk with you a little bit more about an opportunity that we should possibly explore. In my amendment number 1, I'm asking that the commission consider funding Fund 407 miscellaneous real estate line item title work at $25,000. Fund 407 miscellaneous real estate legal notices at $2,500. And Fund 407 miscellaneous real estate line item appraisals at $40,000.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to amend the 2021 budget. Are there any further questions or discussions? Anybody have any questions?
AJ, just a request on the budget. Can you send us an updated budget now with Robbins Road more than we had budgeted, just so we have that?
I keep a working copy. I know Lynn also keeps some, so we kind of track it in 2 different directions.
Are you not getting yours?
but-
I send it every month.
Oh, I didn't realize that it was updated with these numbers each month.
Not these.
Right.
But the rest, yes.
Okay,
So
got
at
it,
the
got
end of at the end of the month, these will be added to that.
Got
for
it.
you.
Okay.
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 Never mind then.
Hearing no further questions, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We have the Robbins Road Extension Project construction.
Yes, before you this afternoon, you have a contract for construction administration services with Avonmarsh. This set of services is very narrowly focused on matters related to the traffic signal and its installation. Staff in the department will be able to handle the construction administration on the road construction side of the project. We don't have the skills in-house to handle the construction administration as it relates to the traffic signal. So this is a very narrowly scoped contract agreement that is covering a set of services that we don't have the ability inside the office. So it'd be staff's recommendation to approve this contract with Avonmarsh, as they're familiar with the project. They were the project's engineers and have a ramp up and understanding of the project, and we'll be able to move forward quickly. So again, it would be staff's recommendation to approve this contract with Avonmarsh Construction or Avonmarsh Consulting in the amount of
Not to exceed $70,000?
Not to exceed
$7,000.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Administration contract, Avonmarsh.
No, that's what we just did.
Oh, well, it's in another line here, so I thought it was a different.
No, sorry.
Additional cost, new door at police department.
So a few months ago, the Redevelopment Commission approved a contract with H&P Construction Services, Inc. For an amount of $2,997. There was additional work done on that project that was beyond the bid amount in the amount of $814. And staff took this understanding to Attorney Whitten, Lynn Reed, and we are bringing this to your attention for action.
I'll I'll make a motion to approve the additional $814. That's all you're asking for, right?
Yes, sir.
The 814?
Second.
We have a motion by Collins, seconded by Allen, to approve of the additional $814 for the new door for the police department.
Is this just for a key card reader, it looks like?
That's my understanding, yes.
Was it just missed on the last one, or on the? Or it didn't add it after the fact?
The department didn't manage that contract. My understanding is it was just missed originally.
Okay.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you. Open and award Armor Rock.
Yeah, so we have, we sought quotes from 3 aggregate suppliers for the purposes of getting a price for armor stone that would be placed at Portage Lakefront and Riverwalk to arm the shoreline. This would be a project that would build upon a project that the National Park Service is currently working on at the south end of the jetty. We've been in ongoing conversations with the superintendent, and if I could represent him here, he is very supportive of this project and thinks that if we could move forward with this, this would go a long way in protecting the investment of the lakefront. So that's a little bit of a summary of the bid and the work that we're looking to consider here today. So as I mentioned earlier, we did solicit 3 quotes. We are in receipt of 1. This is from Shoreline Aggregate Solutions, Inc. And the quote, the quote is from Shoreline Aggregate Solutions, Inc., 301 U.S. Highway 20, Suite C, Michigan City, Indiana, 46360. And the bid amount is for $92,000. If I could make a recommendation, I'd like to take this under advisement and consider this at the next board's meeting.
Make a motion to take this under advisement. Second.
We have a motion and a second to take this under advisement. Are there any further questions? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh, sorry, guys. Okay. Open 2021 landscape maintenance quotes citywide.
I'm going to invite Mr. Joe Eberts to come up and assist with opening these bids. Joe, you're behind your dance floor.
Okay, so got the first of the 3, which is the landscape maintenance contract. There was 14 different areas in the city that we were looking at. We requested that the quotes list each of those areas separately and then give us a lump sum. We did receive 2 quotes. We actually solicited, I think, 7 companies, received 2. The first one is from Allen's Landscape here in Portage. I'm going to read each of the 14 areas off separately, and then the lump sum amount. For South Properties, we have $11,550. Number 2, Open Air Pavilion, $20,800. Number 3, Frank Gilbert Jr. Memorial Park at $25,975. Number 4, Woodland Park at $19,000. Number 5, Tri-State Parking Lot at $7,150. 6, US Highway 6 and Willow Creek Road, $11,050. 7, Willow Creek Road, south of US Highway 6 to County Road 700 North, $38,200. Number 8, Chrisman Road and US Highway 20, $25,570. Number 9, Amphitheater, $15,900. Number 10, Founders Square, $18,750. Number 11, City Hall, $8,725. Number 12, Central Avenue in Vivian, $9,700. Number 13, the Fire Station, number 3, $8,675. And lastly, 14, the Police Station, $22,750 for a grand total of $243,795. And that was Allen's. Thanks.
So does that include mowing as well, or is that just?
No, that's
No mowing.
for landscape services.
Landscaping only.
Now, there is another contract in which we'll have mowing services. That's the Garrison. That's going to be up next, I believe. The second bid quote, second quote is from Holiday Properties, also in the city. And again, I'm going to read off all of these amounts and then the lump sum amount. Number 1, $2,000. Second area, $3,500. 3, $6,400. Number 4, $9,200. Number 5, $4,950. Number 6, $4,100. Number 7, $18,950. Number 8, $3,350. Number 9, $8,550. Number 10, $8,325. Number 11, $4,250. Number 12, $4,750. Number 13, $4,300. And number 14, $14,750 for a grand total of $97,375. That's it for that contract.
It'd be our recommendation to take these bids under advisement and act at a subsequent meeting.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to take these under advisement.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to take the bids for landscape maintenance quotes citywide under advisement. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
I have a quick question. So were these put out for each individual area as, like, we could pick and choose? Like, say we didn't want them all, we just wanted half of those listed.
The idea was that we wanted to request that each of these companies do at least all of those areas to submit a fully completed bid. Quote.
Got it.
Sorry, quote.
Quote.
And I think the idea was that we could itemize to see exactly how much they were charging, just so we can compare apples to apples. But really, it was a lump sum.
Got it, okay.
So I have just a question. I didn't see the bid specs, so did that state anything specific when you received those bids back of what the plantings would be or what they were going to? Is that
Yes.
in there? So
Yeah, we were specific about what kinds of plantings we would require. With annuals, we didn't specify specific types of annuals. We just said this many annuals are requested. For the most part, there wasn't a lot of plantings because of the requirement of watering. So most of it was just bed maintenance. And with bed maintenance, all you have to do is specify the bed size and locations, and then basically specify what was to happen with those beds. So mulching.
So that does that include weeding and watering?
It includes weeding, not
Weeding.
watering for beds. The beds did not include watering.
Thank you. We have the 2021 landscape maintenance quotes for Garriton Center.
Okay, so this is a two-parter. We had Garriton Center and Burns Parkway, North Side Trail. The reason we put these two together was because they're both mowing contracts.
Okay.
So we separated them by per occurrence and then multiplied by 28, so they should give us a lump sum number for each of them. And the reason that we did the 28 was because we wanted to be able to cancel if there's ever a need for a specific week. Let's say that somebody was having a party or something at Garriton Center, and we needed to have that canceled so that the event could take place. Then we could cancel that and we wouldn't have to pay them that extra money, so that we could figure out how many we would actually have to pay them for at the end of the year. Okay, so we received two quotes. The first is from Allen's. At the Garriton Center, per occurrence it was $200 for a grand total of $10,750. At Burns Parkway, North Side Trail, it was $500, and the grand total was $24,500. Second quote was from Holiday Properties. For Garriton Center, per occurrence, it was $225. The grand total was $13,780. At Burns Parkway, it was $2,080. And the grand total was $83,990. Submitted with this quote packet, Mr. Ernstberger did put on here, he wanted us to know that this is based on non-union labor, because I think in our specs we requested union labor. And that's it for them.
Thank you. So it'd be staff's recommendation to take these bids under advisement, and we'll address them in a subsequent meeting.
Motion to take these under
I think I got it
advisement.
next time.
Second.
We have a motion by Collins, seconded by Greg, to take the bids under advisement. Are there any questions?
On the previous opening of the bids, you mentioned that grass cutting was not included?
The first one for the landscape maintenance contract, 2021, that did not include mowing.
Okay, because I'm looking at, unless I'm looking at the wrong bid that went out, it said in fall cleanup, all final mowing of all lawn areas, cutting back dead perennials. It also includes watering throughout the summer.
Yeah, well, that was probably a mistake on my part if that didn't get cleared up in there, because I think the issue there at first was we were considering mowing, and then I didn't actually clear that out of the specs after we decided that those were not going to be mowing contracts.
Okay.
So that's probably why that remained in the spec.
So those weren't quotes with mowing, right?
Correct.
Okay.
They were not.
But you'll, as you
wouldn't
go
have-
through,
it
you'll
wouldn't have
just make
affected-
sure all the bidders are,
It
didn't
wouldn't have
include it or
affected the
did
quotes.
include it.
Because it would not have affected the quotes because we didn't specify any areas for them to mow. So they would have seen that and thought, okay, there's really no area here to mow.
But in the police area, there is mowing, right?
No, there's no mowing in the police area.
Okay. And then as you guys go through, you just verify with each bidder, they didn't include any mowing and stuff. Okay. That's it.
Okay, thank you. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We have the prairie maintenance on 6100 Southport Road.
This one is a lump sum, and this is a one-time deal to mow about 10 acres of prairie at the, otherwise known as the NERC building or the Rob building at 6100 Southport. We got 2 quotes in. The first one is from Allen's. The lump sum amount from Allen's was $13,500. The second quote was from Holiday Properties. Quote from Holiday Properties was $9,800. It's the staff's recommendation that we take these bids under advisement, quotes under advisement.
Make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Greg, seconded by Ralph, to take the bids under advisement. Are there any questions? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have the ecological maintenance restoration services.
I'll be back for that one. I got to get some paperwork.
Okay.
This was a request for proposal for ecological restoration at the Section 125 area. We asked 5 different companies to submit proposals. We received 4 separate proposals. Because it's professional services, we recommended who we thought would be the best candidate for the job based on their qualifications. And that was Cardno out of Walkerton. They incidentally also had the lowest price.
That's not really accurate. All right, so we sought we sought requests for proposals. They were professional service proposals. Included with them, we asked for an estimate of cost as it would relate to the work associated with the restorative work and monitoring of the Section 125 project. So there is no quote. It was an estimate. This decision is being based on professional services, not on a low response. With that said, Cardno was the lowest responder, but in all fairness to all those who submitted, it was they will not know ultimately the cost of the project until they get out on site and do the reporting and do the investigation, do the analysis, and come up with a recommendation. So this is a professional services recommendation based on the review of the proposals, based on our understanding of all the firms, and believing that Cardno would be best to deliver the service for this project.
there a dollar amount?
Do we have a motion?
There is no doubt until they get out there.
But you're recommending Cardinal,
Yes.
so we would need a motion to approve them, right?
Yes. I'll make a motion to approve based on staff's recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion by Colin, seconded by Greg, to approve the recommended Cardinal. Is that a Cardinal group or Cardinal? I don't have that in front of
So
me.
it's Cardno, they're an ecological restoration
Yeah.
firm. Again, this would be just a vote to accept the staff's recommendation. We still need to proceed to contracting, so we will be back before the commission next month to wrap up contracting and working in consult with Attorney Whitten.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. We have a couple of add-ons onto the, do you have that on yours, guys? Does everybody?
Yeah, they were
Okay.
emailed.
Okay, we have the 2020 annual report by Sender and Company.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, and members of the commission. I think if you'll recall, each year we're to present an annual report to you as well as to the fiscal body, which is the council. That just really summarizes the activity of the commission for the previous year, so to speak, for 2020. And I believe it's in your packet, and so I'll just really quickly highlight, we just described a little bit about the purpose of the commission. We have the commission officers, the meetings that you met, the staff. We have a summary of the tax increment that was collected in 2020, and then a summary of all the commission debt for different bond issues that you've incurred for projects over the years. And also a summary of your kind of financial fund balances for each of the funds that the commission oversees. And the back of the report then is a listing of all the parcels that are in the allocation area and what the incremental assessed value is that you collect tax increment on. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. I think it would probably good if the commission did make a action to accept this report tonight, and then it will be forwarded on to the council members.
AJ, did you have?
I did. If I could make one recommendation or amendment to the report on page 4 of the document. It's outlined general professional services provided to the commission. In 2020, the commission did not have Great Lakes Engineering or Short, Elliott, and Hendrickson under contract. So if we could make those modifications, did we?
Not under contract,
But
but
we
they
paid them.
received payment
They probably received payment in
from last
2020.
year, but,
Well, it says services, so.
okay. Well,
Okay, well, I guess I'll defer to the attorney. I just want to go on record, they were not a contracted service provider to the commission in 2020.
I would assume it's going to be, if we paid them, we have to list them.
That was my assumption.
Right.
That's why I provided that information to Carl.
That's odd, but yeah.
Unless we have a system to book it back to a previous year, I assume we probably have to
I
do
don't
it.
know.
Okay, we will need a motion to accept the report with, are we amending that then, or no, we're not amending
Well,
that?
I'll make a motion to accept the report after Dan has had a chance to review and determine if that is something that should be listed.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion by Colin, second by Greg. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We have the assessment notice to Porter County, the capture of assessment. Is that something you wanted on there, AJ?
Yes, so yes, this matter here is a resolution that would be then forwarded to Vicki Urbanek at the county. We'd ask for you to consider that and approve it.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Collins, seconded, was that you, Ralph?
Yes.
Seconded by Ralph. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We have the resolution for 2020 budget year determined for TIF.
I guess I'm at a disservice here. I thought that's what we just did.
Well, you have the letter, approving the letter that's going to go to Vicki,
Okay. And the
and you have the
resolution that goes.
resolution. And I think they just got taken out of order off the agenda.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution for the budget year for the TIF. Are there any questions? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. I see this in here, Lynn. Is that something else that's not on this agenda?
This is not going until the next meeting. I don't know.
It was in my
how-
packet, so I just didn't want to skip over it.
No, you're fine.
Okay, thank you. AJ, did you have anything else to bring up?
I do.
Okay.
The first is a contract that I would ask you to consider, and I apologize for this being late. This was something that came to our attention fairly late, and Attorney Whitten can help me in presenting this one. As you know, about a month or so ago, we received word from the state of Indiana that we had received a grant through Next Level Trails for the construction of the next segment of the Marquette Greenway Trail. We, in the past, had SEH of Indiana under contract that was referencing a master agreement from April of 2016 and a supplemental letter agreement that was entered into 2019 that referred back to the 2016 agreement that SEH was using to provide the services for design services related to this project. In 2019, SEH was asked by Colin Highlands to pause the project because we were unsuccessful in the first round of application, but we had spent some additional money that really strengthened our application that ultimately led to our success. But in that time of 2020, minus I believe a payment at the January Redevelopment Commission meeting, we were not using that contract. The fact that it dates back to a master agreement in 2016 as a supplemental agreement in 2019, I think really caused some concern for me, and concern that I brought to Mayor Lynch and Attorney Whitten, and I went back to SEH and asked them if we could quit referring to something that happened 5 years ago as a master agreement and a supplemental agreement in 2019, and if they could prepare a new agreement that basically restates what it is they're going to do, but reviewed by this commission, by Attorney Whitten, and fast forwarded to 2021. So I have a letter proposal for you. I apologize, this is pretty much hot off the press. There is a sense of urgency on this, but I also understand your reluctance in wanting to move ahead on this. I don't think it's catastrophic if we wait. But I also think that if we were able to proceed, we could continue with the work that has been going on. So I'll defer to the commission as to how you'd like to proceed.
This is the trail over by Ameriflex, correct?
It is the new segment of trail that would be built from Deer Trail Park to the town of Burns Harbor.
Okay, so that's, all right.
Yes, sir.
And they were working, everyone was working under the assumption that the contract was in place, and as you went into it, you've noticed that with the amendment and passed, so.
So I knew when I first came back to the city and to the commission, I had kind of a closed out conversation with Colin and had a kind of a project kickoff meeting with the folks at SEH. And both of them represented to me that that there was no work taking place, minus I think some pay that happened in January of 2020. So as we got to this period of time, I asked Glenn Peterson at SEH, and Lynn and I spoke, and that's when I discovered the connection back to a master agreement in 2016 and a supplemental agreement in 2019. And that was the information I shared with Mayor Lynch and with Attorney Whitten. And through that conversation, the recommendation was, hey, can you reach out to SEH and see if we can just clean this up with a new contract? Glenn Peterson's here with us today from SEH. He did prepare this, so I do have a new contract that would be dated 2021.
If it's just cleaning things up and just moving forward with the stuff we have, I don't see a reason.
Is there any, what are the major differences between the past two?
I would make this contingent on a final review of Attorney Whitten and myself. A couple reviews of it, I believe that it's very similar to the supplemental agreement that was approved a couple years ago by this commission. But I would ask that Dan and I at least had a few moments to triple check that to make sure. But like I said, in the couple reads that I've had of this, Alan, comparing it to the supplemental, the scope of work and everything that's contemplated here is pretty consistent with what was done previously.
And I just got it today, so I took a cursory look at it, and I think that's exactly correct. I think this new sort of improved, at least more recent contract speaks to do what was contemplated to be done before. In reading the master agreement and then the follow-up supplemental, they were so dated, it seemed that it wasn't that we weren't necessarily under contract, it just seemed a little bit, grown too many whiskers. It was time to get something new. So I think this cleans it up, but I do need a little more time to go through with AJ, but it looks from an initial review like that's what it's going after.
I think what AJ is looking for is a motion to approve based on Dan's review.
And I will go deeper in the well, but I just want to give you kind of a response to what my initial look told me.
And this doesn't commit us to any other work, it's just...
No, this is now specifically to that trail project.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion to approve contingent upon legal and staff review.
Second.
We have a motion by Colin, seconded by Greg. Are there any other questions? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. AJ, do you have anything else to bring to us?
I do. And again, Attorney Whitten, if I could solicit your help here as we make our way through.
I'm here for you, AJ.
Thanks. I appreciate the help, really. As you know, you've been keeping track. There's been some changes at Portage Little League, and there's been a conversation about what does that property hold for the future, and there has been some expressed interest that the Redevelopment Commission may be interested in pursuing acquisition of that property. Before a decision can be made, the Redevelopment Commission needs some information. Mm-hmm. That first piece of information would be appraisals. So I'm coming to you to ask if you would like to proceed with ordering appraisals. I have solicited quotes for appraisals. They're in a proposal form. They're not in a final form. I have solicited an appraisal from Professional Appraisal Services, and their total for the appraisal is a proposed estimate of $6,200, And I have also secured a proposal from AER for a total of $3,350 for their appraisal services. If the commission would like to proceed based on those sort of budgetary numbers and appraisal numbers, Attorney Witten and I could work to finalize and put that in the form of an agreement with each of those appraisal companies to move forward, so that any future conversations the Redevelopment Commission has about that property, that key piece of information will be in your hands. And then I'll turn it over to Dan if there's anything you'd like to add.
No, I think that's pretty much it, AJ. We talked a little bit about this early on. It seemed like maybe this was somewhat time sensitive, but in any further discussions we have, of course, about the board's desire or non-desire, we can deal with that in another meeting. But I thought at this point, maybe we need to move forward with at least contemplating getting appraisals on it so we know what we're looking at.
And just to add an important piece, I think, to the timeliness of this effort, my understanding in talking to each of the firms is that still we're looking at a 4 to 6 week delivery on the appraisals. So there still is a period of time before we'll have that information in hand.
AJ, excuse me?
Yes, ma'am.
You said something regarding $6,200. I missed hearing what you said.
Yeah, so professional appraisal services.
Thank you.
Their proposed estimate was $6,200 and AER was $3,350.
Thank you.
Well, I'll make a motion to authorize appraisals at AJ's discretion for which company we go with. I mean, do you have
go
a
with
preference?
both.
Oh, you need both. Got it. Okay. Oh, right. We need two
Yeah,
appraisals.
two appraisals.
And then I
Just
would just
curious.
add, yes, sir.
Why the difference? Is there a third company there that we could go with?
I didn't price shop it.
Okay.
I reached out to both firms and asked for a proposal. I didn't
Interesting.
beat up the number.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion to seek appraisals on the property.
Second.
We have a motion by Collins, seconded by Allen. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I think just on this, the whole Little League issue, I think we need to at least know what we're talking about in terms of dollars before we can even discuss next options, because we have no idea what these appraisals are going to come back at. So I think we're at least doing our due diligence to know what it would cost if we were to move forward in the future.
I guess my question would be, it's still $10,000, and what would the intention be to be purchased by redevelopment? It's not something it's already a clean, empty site for the most part. It's just some fences and stuff of that nature. Why would it be beneficial for us to purchase the property?
Who are you asking?
In general.
I'm not sure, Greg, I think we're still very early in the process. I mean, it may come in so high that we really choose not to purchase it anyhow.
Mhm.
But I think we have to look at our options, and I think getting the appraisals kind of steers us in a little bit in that direction of whether we even want to go to the next step.
I mean, I think it's downtown property, and we have no idea what the future of that property is. I mean, we have an interest in making sure that that property is what we are envisioning for the downtown. So I think we need to at least know what the cost would be if we decided to move forward.
But us as a city, we have development standards and stuff of that nature. We already control what can be built there. I don't.
Well, that's correct.
That's
yes,
where I'm
but
kind of lost of why we would want to purchase the property if we already can control what can be built there.
well, I mean, what if we want to use the property for a city purpose and someone else buys it? Then we're going to have to go out and buy it from someone else if we wanted to use it for a city purpose. I mean, we don't know. We have no idea what the property would be used for. So, I mean, it could be left as baseball fields.
Right.
So, I mean, I'd like to know at least what the cost is before we can decide where to go.
Alan, Ralph, do you have any?
This is for all parcels, right?
Yes, sir. There's 3 parcels associated with Little League property. There are 2 parcels that total about 7.7 acres that I think we envision as the ball fields.
Right.
And then there's a small parcel of property at the north end adjacent to the toll road that's a small parcel. It's like 0.14 acres. So it's a total of 3 parcels, but only 2 of the 3 are contiguous.
So Colin made a motion. I'm waiting for a second if anybody wants a
We
second.
had a second.
We have.
I believe.
Oh,
that-
Alan, you seconded? Okay, I'm sorry. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. So, AJ, do you have anything else to bring up?
We did talk earlier about me soliciting quotes or proposals without the commission's consent, but I was here to ask anyway, so I'll let you know. A couple of things. The air conditioning unit at the Portage Police Station is on the fritz, so we will be soliciting bids or quotes for work related to the air conditioning unit. We're just chasing it. I mean, I think we're to the point, Greg, where we just got to do the whole thing.
Did we just do the whole
Yes,
thing?
we did one of the compressors.
Oh.
So
Two of them?
we've chased it to the point where now it's time to fix it. The contractors, when they looked at it, they were looking at it, they said, hey, here's the preventative maintenance step, here's the second step, and I think everybody said it's time to start again. So we'll be soliciting bids for that work. The second is, I've reported a few months ago that the city received a grant through the Lake Michigan Coastal Program to develop a plan for land acquisition and disposition of city-owned properties. We are working on the grant agreement with the state of Indiana, and I'll be soliciting proposals for professional services to assist in the development of that report. We won't be acting on that solicitation until we finalize the agreement with the state of Indiana and the grant. The Lake Michigan Coastal Program is a 50-50 grant, so we're paying for half of that report, and I believe it's budgeted in this year's budget at $40,000. So we're estimating that this is about an $80,000 report that we'll be commissioning. One other thing, a couple months ago, I asked for your permission to solicit bids for the removal of the gates at Portage Lakefront and Riverwalk. We have reached out to city forces, and they are going to be able to do that, which I guess gives me the opportunity to brag a little bit about our guys here, the guys and girls here in the city. We mentioned earlier, the shoreline restoration work that the National Park Service is underway and that we're hoping that we can participate in. Our city services and a team is going to be working with the National Park Service in the placement of some of that armor stone. So kudos to some of our forces who are going to go out there and help here in the next month or so with that work. So while they're out there, they're like, we could deal with that gate on the way out. So I just wanted to report on that anytime we can, we do try to reach out to the city and the city forces to see if they can assist in the projects that we're contemplating. And we're going to partner with our friends at National Park to work on the shoreline restoration work, and on the way in or out, we'll work on getting that gate out of there. So just wanted to mention that as well.
Are you sure?
Such a great report, AJ. There's so much going on. So, is there anything else to come before the commission? Anybody would like to bring anything up?
Dan, any movement on Catalyst?
Well, there's always a little bit of movement. But,
Of course there is.
So I got all the title work back from Meridian Title. I had a few follow-up questions with them. We got all that resolved and worked out. So my intention was today, but it's going to be tomorrow, to file our recipe for sale to have it set for the sheriff's sale. So we worked through all the title questions I had, and I think we're smooth sailing to the sale date.
So what does that process look like? How will that work?
So you file a recipe to sale with the court, they sign the order, the civil sheriff sends it for a public auction sale. From that point, folks have an opportunity to come in and bid. We're the lien holder, we can lien bid. It's what banks do at foreclosures. Start the bidding at our lien, which is a pretty good chunk of change. And if somebody wants to come in and outbid our lien, then come in with $7 million to buy it, I suppose they could do that. But barring that if we were the high bidder as a lien bidder, then we would get the property back.
So either we're getting our money or we're getting the property back. One of the two is going to happen.
Either we get land or Mr. Green comes to visit, as we say. So either way, we walk away with
$6 million, either in land
song
or
in our heart and something in our pocket.
So what is the kind of the time frame on that, Dan?
So typically, it's a couple months out. Typically, is the civil sheriff's sale once they get the precipice from the court.
Okay.
So the lien from us is, we've already received 1.2, so the lien bid would be lower than 6, right?
No, because with compounded interest and all that stuff on the money, it was 6.3 after taking at one point. But then attorney's fees and all those wonderful things that we file as part of our lien, of course. So it's north of that.
Got it.
It's north of 6.364.
Okay. Is there
Thank you.
anything else to come before the commission? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.